like the offense in times got after it today. The rhythm. What did you see?
Absolutely, man. They had a great day. They scored touchdowns in the red zone. That's our goal. Score touchdowns in the red zone. And defensively, it's tough. It's it's not live bullets, but the routes and concepts and the throws were pretty good by the offense. So it was fun to see.
Would there be any scenario where you would decide on the quarterbacks during this break, or is it now going into camp?
I would not do that. Our original plan was to teach the offense, this entire spring, and to give those two guys a chance to compete evenly. So our plans, and it's in place. It's going to be more of a training camp competition.
Vance, what was up? Brandon Marshall.
I'm sorry.
Brandon Marshall. You just shut him down.
Yeah, he had a sore Achilles from yesterday. Just being smart, guys. We want our guys to leave here healthy so they can go home and train for the next 5 weeks. So the worst thing for a coach is to have a team that's not healthy going into the break. Now guys can't train the same way and they come back to training camp, and I mean it's an issue. So our main goal this entire spring is to stay as healthy as possible.
You hold him out tomorrow then?
Absolutely.
How about Carlos Henderson?
As far as his play.
Or as far as
I'm sorry, his foot. Same thing. I mean, he went yesterday. He became sore this morning. So same thing, guys. We want this guy to be healthy for the fall, for training camp.
And Petco, he had something done with the foot. What's the prognosis there?
Petco broke a bone in his foot. He had surgery this morning. It was successful, but he's going to be out probably to early camp. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunate there.
How was the military, having the military out here?
It's great, guys. Our guys have great respect for the military. I mean, they get it as far as what they do for us as people every day. So, it's a mutual respect. So it's always good to have those guys here.
Vance, what about Lewis Harris?
Yeah.
I know you got some background with him.
Sure.
Can you just kind of give
Yeah,
some
I had him in Cincinnati. I mean, he was my fourth or fifth corner in Cincy my 2 years there. He's a smart player. He's an experienced player. He's played nickel. He's played outside as an outside corner also. We wanted to add a guy with experience to the secondary room as far as the fourth or fifth corner. Losing Webster in free agency, that's a big deal. Because that fourth or fifth corner is one play from playing. So we wanted to add a guy to the roster that's played in NFL games. So if something would happen, we feel okay about it.
When you guys are practicing red zone situations, who do you pull
Sure.
up for? Who do you feel yourself as a defensive guy? But
Defensive guy.
well, that's where you were before here. But
Absolutely.
What are you rooting
Who
for?
am I pulling for? I'm
Yeah.
pulling for good football. So when the offense scores, I'm excited about
So
that,
Justin
guys.
Simmons makes that interception.
I'm excited about that. That's a big time play. So I'm rooting for both sides. I'm coaching the loser and I'm rooting for the winner. How about that? That makes sense?
Sure.
That's what I do.
With the switching of the guards, was there any concern there pulling that experienced veteran Leary away from the rookie Bowles who's still learning?
I'm sorry, say again.
Was there any thought going into taking Leary away from Bowles on
Oh,
that
I see.
left
It's forced
side?
communication.
Yeah.
No, guys, because it's really about the best overall fit. And offensive lines, the best offensive lines, they play well together. And it's not having 5 Pro Bowl players. It's really having 5 guys that work well together, tough, smart. So no, that wasn't an issue. Mac's best position is left guard. So for us to be the best O-line we can, Mac's got to be the best left guard he can. And Ronald, being a veteran player, had no problem going to right.
Is that a group you would settle on when camp opens?
That's a tough question. We're still figuring it out. Ty's played well. Billy Turner's had a hell of a spring. So it's McGovern's had a hell of a spring. Matt's not back yet. So that's a hard question to answer. But in my opinion, it's a good thing because it provides depth. That's important.
Will Matt be back at the start of camp?
Matt should be back at the start of camp, but we'll probably work him in slow. So I can't say how he will feel, but he will be cleared to play football.
Okay.
But as far as how much early on, I'm not sure.
Coach,
Time for a few more for the coach.
Talking about depth, what about the wide receiver position
Yeah.
and the impression that Jordan Taylor has made on you?
Jordan, even watching last year's tape at the end of the year, I was impressed with Jordan. Jordan's a hard worker. He's a big target. He's got great hands, and he works hard every day. That's a full room. between 88 and 10, and then having 14 and Fowler and drafting those 2 young kids, it's a full room, man. It's going to be a tough decision of who makes our football team, but that's the way it should be. I mean, you want every spot on your football team to be that way. You want it tough and competitive in training camp.
We talked so much about the quarterbacks, but you told me for months the importance of running the ball.
Absolutely.
It looks like on that right side you could run the hell out of it with Watson and Larry.
Absolutely, man. We
What
got
is the
2.
key to that? What do you see in the
Well,
run game? I
I'll
know
say
it's
this.
not bad.
How about the 2 quarterbacks? Until we protect better and run the football better, it won't matter who the quarterbacks are, because those 2 things have to happen first. We got to block better for those guys and run the football better. We do that, whoever plays is going to have success. But that being said, with Leary and Watts on the right side, that's 2 big men, along with Virgil as a blocking tight end. That's going to be formative.
Last one, Lindsay.
Vance, you guys were pretty vocal throughout this offseason about kind of challenging Demarius.
Yes.
To have an even
Yes.
more dominant presence.
Mhm.
How has he responded to that? And
He
what
has
more-
responded in a big way, in my opinion. I mean, he showed up here in great shape, and he's engaged every day. I mean, he wants the ball, and if he attacks, every game in that way, I mean, he's going to be what we want. Because I mean, he's a guy one-on-one that can't be covered, in my opinion. So if we get single coverage, the ball's going to him. Stop him if you can.
I mean, because you had to game plan against him
Absolutely.
multiple times.
Absolutely.
And to see a guy that you, as a defensive coordinator, how would you try to take him?
Well, I mean, you play him, with a shell coverage, top down, one guy low, one guy high, and that happens. You run the football, and obviously having 10 on the opposite side, that also helps. Or having a slot guy who can win inside. So it all works together. If he's being doubled, we run the football. If he's singled up, we throw the ball to those guys outside. So having a dominant guy outside is always key to having great offense.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow.
Shut up.